everything we talk about and everything we have talked about really stems from or really stems around this one core idea of you and I at our core, we need and want to and must live from, and now my pen doesn't work. We must live from a place of clarity. And if you're taking notes, I want you to write that. I'm going to share my screen in just a second. Um, but we have to, we have to function from a place of clarity. And when you have clarity, you have courage, you have focus, you have energy. Like when you become clear, it's almost like you feel the load lifting from you, and it's just a has the potential to be an invigorating experience when you are living and operating and moving and breathing from a place of clarity. Most of us, myself included, at times, we do not live from a place of clarity where we have committed to clarity. I want to make that distinction. Many of us have not committed to clarity. Let me see if my pen works now. It does. So I'm going to share my screen. Many of us have not committed to clarity because we are asking ourselves this fundamental question of what if it does not work? So the goal is for us to experience clarity. And the reason why we may not experience clarity is because we are asking ourselves this question. What if? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't get it? What if I fail? What if? The reason why we don't commit. The reason why we don't commit is because we're asking ourselves this question of what if? And at some point we have to. Now let me take a step back. Some of the reason why we ask ourselves this question around what if is because of our past experience. So we've gone through previous experiences where maybe it didn't work out. We've seen with other people's situations where things didn't work out. We look around at life and we say, man, life is hard. And we tell ourselves these stories around what is or what is not working. And so we say to ourselves, well, what if it doesn't, right? What if it doesn't? And that is a question that drives so many of us ultimately to play it safe. And what I want to challenge you to in this moment is to really not ask yourself the question, what if it doesn't work? But I want you to answer the question, what if it does? What if I am successful? What if it does work out? What if it does make sense and I am able to achieve this goal? And can we then, on the front side, if we can say, you know what, I'm going to commit to this. If we then can say on the front side, I'm going to commit to this. And if I have the two words, if we have clarity and we have discipline to execute, then we know, even from a biblical worldview, that success is inevitable. If we have clarity and we have the discipline to execute, we know that success is inevitable. How do we know that? I don't know. Would you agree with me on that? Do you believe that success is inevitable?
If you have those two things, clarity and discipline, absolutely. Walking in the will of God for your life, and taking next steps.
Possibly. What do you think? What else do you think?
So I believe strongly in alignment.
Okay.
And I believe if you have clarity on where you should be aligned and you make intentional efforts to be aligned,
Okay.
then like that would be the purpose of getting clarity. That would be the purpose of being intentional so that success would happen. So it's kind of like an organic process.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying yes, success can be inevitable if we are walking in the will of God and if we have alignment and we're clear on the things that we're aligning around, then yes, success with the discipline, success can be inevitable.
Not can, will.
Will be. Success will be. Okay. That's good.
Like if those conditions are met. And then just kind of sometimes you're having to reframe what success looks like, because if you're out of alignment and you have an idea of what success looks like and then you become in alignment, you have to reassess what success truly is.
Okay. So it's important.
Go ahead.
So it's important that we reframe and that we reframe our definition of success, right? Success is if we judge success by accomplishing some type of external measure, then yeah, maybe not. I mean, there are hundreds of people who are in, let's say, for example, they are playing in the NBA and they all have the goal of winning the championship, but not everyone wins. All of these NBA players, they're clear on their goal. Many of them are disciplined and they execute, they practice, they go through the drills, they go through the work. But you can say only a small percentage of them actually become NBA champions. So therefore, no, it's not. Success is not inevitable. But I think, Fiona, what I hear you saying is that we have to understand and reframe success, that success is not necessarily the accomplishment of an external measure. And I like how Myron Golden says it, that success is defined as the discovery and fulfillment of the purpose for which I was created, right? And so success is me discovering and me fulfilling the purpose for which I created. And so if success is only the promotion, is only the championship, is only the external accolades, then we might have a very short-sighted definition and view of success, because your life is more than just the external accomplishment, the external job, the C-suite office, or the championship. Your life is significantly more than that, right? And we might want to leverage those things to accomplish a bigger purpose and a bigger mission for our lives. But if we boil our life down to, did I reach the goal of winning a championship? Did I reach the goal of getting promotion? Then I think we have a very short-sighted view of the big plan of God for our lives and how he wants to leverage our gifts, our skills, our talents in order to move the kingdom, in order to move the community, in order to move our families forward. Right? So, said a lot, success is not just external. And so we have to reframe success, is what I heard you say, Fiona. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments? What do you think here?
I guess I'm trying to, in a way, fathom the alignment aspect of success.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm getting into is, maybe I will personalize it instead of just generalizing that. For so long, I had a vision of where my career is going to be.
Okay.
Now, in my career, I am definitely successful in the career path of where I want to go. However, not in the field of my career, if that makes sense.
Sure.
In my career, I keep getting shifted in in positions, not like position as a title,
Yeah.
but in positions that I'm happy with, but not what I'm passionate about.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
I put my all and I get everything in return. With that being said, I'm starting to now find or figure out the alignment aspect of it, and within that career aspect umbrella, is that where God is leading me to, rather than what I've always thought my passion and my calling.
So that is a triple loaded Whopper. I don't know if you eat Whoppers. Anyone here eat Whoppers? It's been a while, right?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Used to, right? If you live in California, we would call it a double double, right? From In and Out.
Impossible Whopper.
Impossible Whopper. Okay. So your question is a triple Whopper, and I'm just going to answer it very as simply as I can, recognizing that you are a dynamic person who simple answers don't always satisfy, right? So I want to say that. So at your core, and we've talked about this before, this is how life flows, right? So who do I need to be is the first question. What do I need to do is the second question. That's a triangle. And then if I do these things, it'll lead me to having these things. And so a lot of times we say, oh, success is the promotion or the promotion or the career path that I envision my life going on. And so we have a vision for our lives around what we want to have. I want the career, I want the promotion, I want the blah, 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 whatever that thing might be, right? And so we go to school knowing that if I do these things, it should lead me to this outcome. But we don't live in a perfect world. We don't live in a linear world where your journey is not like step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like your life is not like this, Sam, as you know. Your life is like 1, 2, and then 3 is over here, 4 is over here, 5 is over here, 6 is over here. And so your life looks something like this. And you throw in there a divorce, you throw in there a bankruptcy, you throw in there getting laid off, you throw in there, some health challenges, you throw in there the death of a parent, and what could have been a linear path to what we would call success is no longer linear. And the reason why life is all like this is because it is in this scribble of life that our core is developed. And so when we say success is the discovery and the fulfillment for the reason for which I was created, though that is a true being definition, where we're saying everything is about who I am becoming. And the person I am becoming will have varying experiences, all that are designed to help me become a certain type of person. And I can determine whether these varying scribble, scrabble, one-off situations of life, whether they help me to rise and really become my highest self, or whether I descend into fear, shame, guilt, ego-driven, pride-driven, regret-driven life. And so, yes, I had many, many detours in my life. And my life doesn't look like the fairy tale picture of beautiful family with kids and white picket fence and, corner office and convertible car and vacations in Colorado on the slopes of Black Diamond Mountain. Like, that's not my life. The reality is that all of us are becoming. All of us are becoming. And when we experience this scribble, oftentimes it leads to a complaint. Do you have any complaints in life? Anything that you, a complaint is something you wish would stop, or something you wish would start. If you have something in your life where you're saying, man, I wish this thing would stop, or I wish that thing would start, that is the essence of a complaint. Now, it doesn't mean you're complaining or that you're whining or that you're fussy like my 8-year-old. But the essence of a complaint is there's something in my life that I wish would stop. And there's something in my life there's something in my life that I wish would start. And most of the time it's because we are in the scramble of life or the scribble of life, where my life is no longer the detour. I wish this would stop, or I wish this would start. And when we experience the essence of a complaint, it causes us to then come back to who are we becoming? Because often when you experience a complaint, what you and I primarily do is we focus on what do I need to do in order to eliminate the complaint? So I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to go here, I need to move, I need to go see this person, I need to get this job, I need to do all these things in order to eliminate the complaint. But what we know is that often our doing activity often does not, it might be put a Band-Aid, it might be a stopgap, but the complaint is often there because something is happening that is deeper on a core soul level. I was recently asked the question, Seth, what are some of your complaints? And one of my complaints was that my daughters don't keep their room clean. Can I just be honest with y'all up in here? Do I got a witness? I need you to leave. Thank you. Yes. My daughters don't keep their room clean. That's one of my complaints. I have others, but I'll just go there. The question then becomes, why does that bother you? Like, what's going on inside of you that bothers you? That's the question. What is going on inside of you that this scribble bothers you? It bothers you to the level, it bothers you to the point of it rising to a complaint. We have a special needs daughter who has challenges. I mean, just pick something. There's a challenge with it, right? Cerebral palsy, significant challenges. My wife and I have many complaints, right? If we could have a conversation with God, we've got many complaints surrounding her situation. Many things that would fall into something that we wish would stop and something that we wish would start category. And the question that I have to ask myself is, Seth, why does that bother you? Because there is an image of myself that I have that this external situation is now causing imposition or is now causing a disruption in what I felt was a linear path to success and family success. And now that linear path is disrupted, it rises to the level of complaint. And it forces me to sit back with, okay, Seth, who are you becoming? And while you are in this scribble of a life, what does summoning your best self look like? while you are in the middle of a scribble. Do you see yourself here? Howard's over here somewhere. And Anita's over here. Y'all see yourselves? Y'all see it? Y'all see it? Sam is down here. We are all in the scribble. We're all in the scribble. And so it's how do we then move to a point where we no longer live with what ifs or this or that, but we now say, you know what? This is where I am. My life is not a fantasy. This is the path. This is the path of fantasy. How do you spell it? Fantasy? I don't know. This is the path of God's dream for you. God's dream for you and God's dream for me is the scribble. The fantasy wants to escape God's dream for me. It wants to escape reality. So I want to escape my situation with my special needs daughter. I want to escape the fact that my daughter's never cleaned their room. I want to escape the fact that this isn't happening, that's not happening. I want to escape that. That's what fantasies are. God's dream for us takes our present reality and it elevates it by allowing us to become the person that can steward the scribble. So how do I steward my scribble well is the question. And some of it goes to Benjamin's presentation last week, right? Of our primal question. Well, I need to know, what is my primal question? That helps me steward the scribble, right? What are my saboteurs? I have another assessment. What are my saboteurs? That helps me steward the scribble, right? Am I clear on not just, this is the key, clarity is not just about what I want to have. Clarity is also about who do I want to become? That's what clarity is also about.
Interject.
Go ahead, please.
As you're on this slide that you're showing right now, maybe take me back to basics. Take me back to kindergarten. Let's define alignment. Let's start there. Because in my mind, what I'm thinking of is as I work through my career, whatever course I'm taking in life will be in alignment with my career path. So now if my career path takes me where my goals are somewhat not aligning, how do I then understand God's purpose, if that makes sense? Maybe let's define alignment, then from there, break it down for me.
So alignment is an interesting word because I don't know if the goal of life is alignment. I think oftentimes we romanticize alignment. I think the goal of life is peace. And I think sometimes there is overlap between alignment and peace. But I think sometimes I might feel like I'm in the midst of a storm and everything is out of aligned. But if I am still at peace, then I'm good. So practically speaking, we can say, okay, yeah, I want alignment. Like, what is my mission? Right? My personal mission. What are my passions? What are my skills? What are my abilities? What is my previous experience? Like, what are all those things? And I want all of these things to be aligned. And I mean, yes, that makes sense. So I know I'm good at something. I know I'm passionate about something. I have the ability, I have the experience. So I want all of those things to kind of like intersect. I want them to intersect like this, right? So it's like my passions, my abilities, my skills, I got all these things, and I want to make sure that they intersect, right? But sometimes the reality of life is you might be in a role where it might feel like the work I'm doing isn't something I'm passionate about. Do I know how to move through that season in my life? Can I move through that season in my life where it's very clear I'm in the scribble of life, but can I move through it still, knowing that even in this season where I feel like I'm doing something that is kind of out of alignment with my passions, gifts, skills, or abilities for a season, not forever, but for a season, that all things are still working together for good? That I can still have peace in the midst of this. Fiona, you can jump in. I see your hands raised.
So maybe alignment isn't the best way to portray. I know I don't know if that word was being used prior to me making my last comment, or if I introduced that word. And so I just kind of want to share a little bit more to the point that I was making. And
Go ahead.
because I do believe that when aligned, then you can walk through the scribble. The scribble is happening, but you've got a path because you're walking in sync. You are clearly aware of, like, for instance, you mentioned like becoming a person, where I feel when you align or realign is you get to know who you are, right? Like what you were created to do in whatever setting it is, home, school, church, neighbor, where, like your whole being, right? So I liken alignment with seeking clarity, and understanding and appreciation and accepting who you are, all parts of you.
That's good.
God, and in between, the perfectly imperfect you, and what you're called to be, what you were created for, the whether professionally or in your family or in your community or church, all of those things, right? So you're walking through the scribble, and the scribble is happening, but you have peace because you're keenly aware of who you are, whose you are, and the direction that you're heading. So even when the noise of life is going on and you fall off the track, because that's gonna happen, you know your way back. You
Right.
follow the crumbs because you've become familiar with the crumbs. So the long and the short of it, I use the word alignment, and I talk about that because I do feel like it brings you peace and satisfaction. It doesn't take away the scribble. That's still happening.
Right.
But you're like, yeah, okay, that's supposed to happen. That's like, I'm good. I'm going to keep moving.
Right.
I have an assignment. I am on a mission. I've got orders.
Yeah, I like what you're saying, and I know how you just dropped that little perfectly imperfect plug. I see what you did there. So yes, maybe, and there's no shade against alignment. I think alignment is it's a good word. And I think we should strive to be aligned in these areas of our life. And most people they're working a job they hate, right? They are engaged in regular activities that they feel like is draining them, is not life-giving. And so, yeah, they're not in alignment, right? And so I think we should maybe elevate that word on some level to some degree so that people can understand that there is more than what they are currently experiencing. I think another word to consider in this conversation as we attempt to wrap up, another word to consider is assignment. And Fiona, you mentioned that understanding okay, what is my assignment in this season? And whatever my assignment might be in this season, I pray to God that it aligns with my experience. But if for some reason it doesn't align with these things, I know that God is going to give me the capacity to flex. That's the other word, is to flex while I am in the scribble. And that even this assignment, this that I'm currently in right now, is not a wasted season. And that's the thing that we understand when we truly have clarity around who are we becoming, is that we recognize that there are no wasted seasons. In Christ, there are no wasted seasons. All things work together for good. Right? So Joseph, Potiphar's house, prison, there are no wasted seasons. Everything was preparing him to be the person he needed to be so he could do the work he was called to do in Egypt and for his family, so that he can ultimately have what God was trying to deliver to him. Right? And so the difficulty of the scribble, sometimes the uncertainty of the scribble, is not so much clarity around, let me just say this, we're able to manage the scribble of life, not because we have extreme clarity on the destination, as much as it is we have extreme clarity on who I need to become during this season of my life in order to steward the assignment of God over my life well. So I know who I need. I know in order to deal with my daughter's messy room and my daughter with the special needs, like to deal with that well, to steward that assignment well, I know who I need to become. And the moment I stop resisting it and I stop allowing it to elevate to the level of a complaint, and I say, you know what? This is the assignment that God has called me to steward during this season of my life. Let me steward this assignment well. Now I am becoming, and that's when we hear him say, well done, my good and faithful servant. You are faithful in a few things. I will now make you ruler over many. Right? You stewarded the assignment well. I gave you 2 talents, you brought back 4. I gave you 5, you brought back 5 more. Right? You stewarded the assignment. You grew, your capacity grew. You leverage your knowledge, your attitude, your skills, your habits in order to move whatever that assignment was forward, right? Enter into the joy of the Lord. Like that's the goal. So we kind of went around the merry-go-round here a little bit, but hopefully it was a value add. To just think about, okay, yeah, clarity around not just what do I want from a possession perspective, but also clarity around who do I need to become during this season right now. Go ahead, Howard.
I was curious, and I guess also adding, I was gonna ask, well, where does, and I think this is sort of what we're talking about as well. Where does who we already are fit into this being? Who we already are in relation to, and I'm wondering if that's also what the alignment is. You know, who we are, coming to terms with finding peace with who we already are, who we're created to be, what we already have in the repertoire, what we've already been given from our Lord, and now aligning that with who we are to become. I think that that's what I'm seeing where the alignment is. If we were to continue with that word.
Yeah, so it's kind of like in these areas, like what am I right now?
Right.
What am I passionate about? What am I good at? What are my skills? Like, let me do an inventory of self right now. And then let me assess, okay, this is what I'm good at. Let me steward my current gifts and abilities and identity in this present moment while I continue to grow. We have to keep growing. That is a non-negotiable. E. Cleveland said, whatever is not growing is dying. We have to continue to grow. God create all of life around us grows. The curse of sin is death. The gift of God is growth. It is momentum. It is progress. It is expansion. It is not stagnation. It is not decline. You know, the kingdom of heaven is not about decline or stagnation. It is about growth and momentum. And growth is not about having more, doing more. Growth is about becoming. In Christ, we are becoming, right? Where he even talks about how we are, being formed into the image of Christ. The whole process of sanctification is a becoming journey. The process of a lifetime, some would say, right? So it is a becoming in the refiner's fire, growing, right? If we're not living, we are not living. If we're not growing, yes. So all of that is, I want to have a healthy understanding and assessment of who I am right now as in today, while I also understand that God is growing me to continue to become more into his image and more into understanding his will for my life. I shared, and this is the last thing, I shared this last week with a group of gentlemen in Atlanta. I shared with them Romans 12. And Anita, this is not a Bible study. I don't know why you keep taking us there, right? This is not a Bible study. But I shared with them Romans 12. And Romans 12 says, be not conformed to the world, but be transformed. But let God transform you. I like the New Living Translation. But let God transform you by changing the way you think. I might even have it up here somewhere, right? By changing the way you think, let God transform you. And then the very next text says, then you will know what is the will of God. I'm scared to open my Safari because I don't know what my daughter's been looking at. Okay. Gymnastics.
Blame it on the child.
You say what?
Saying blame it on the child.
I will.
Right? Nice try, though.
Listen. This is their. I said this was my iPad. This is really their iPad. I don't know. I was trying to open the Bible app, but I can't find. Basically, and you all know what y'all should know what it says. Like be transformed let God transform you by changing the way you think. That's Romans 12:2. And in the very next text it says, then you will know the will of God. And what's so interesting to me is it says, let God transform you by changing the way you think, then you will know the will of God. So what is the precondition for us to know God's will?
Open to change.
We have to change the way we think. It says, don't conform, but be transformed. Let God transform you by changing the way you think. Then you will know the will of God. So if we don't know the will of God for our life, if we're still like, man, what is God? What is your will for me? What is your will for me? That might be a clear indication that the way we think has not changed. That the way we think has not yet been transformed. So can we change the way we think so that we're not thinking from and we talked about this many, many times, we're not thinking from a fear, shame, guilt perspective, but we're thinking from a faith, hope, love. All things work together for good. My life is rooted in the precious promises of God. I'm confident in his will for my life. I'm changing the way I think. Then I will know. That is the difference between that is the difference between empowering language and disempowering language. So think about a situation that you're facing and then talk about that situation with disempowering language. Man, my daughters, every day I gotta get on them about cleaning their room, and I just don't know why I have to do this, and it's just so, they just don't listen to me, and it's just so frustrating that every single day I have to repeat myself over and over and over again about getting them to clean their room. Like, that is disempowering language versus, wow, every day I have the opportunity to really help my daughters grow and to help them become better stewards of their environment. And it's really something that I can lean into because I recognize that the family is literally the training and development department for these young people. And so I'm putting things in place to really help them to accomplish their goal of becoming responsible adults. And I just look forward to it. You know, it like, that is empowering language. It's the exact same situation. One is disempowering, one is empowering. And the difference between like the two is, has your thoughts been transformed? If your thoughts haven't been transformed, then you are in complaint mode. If your thoughts have been transformed, then you won't be in complaint mode. You will be empowered. You will use empowered language. So we went around and we said a lot. Thank you, Sam, for the prompt. Thoughts, questions, comments before we wrap up.
Yeah, no, thank you. Very informative, insightful, and definitely aligns with my primal question, which is number 7. Everything that is on my question and where I am in life right now, spot on. So, yeah, thanks.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Wonderful. We are deep into Q2. It just started, but we're still deep into it. I sent you all the text message. 12-week year. Want you to really articulate with clarity your 12-week year goal, both a doing goal and a becoming goal. What do you need to become in order to accomplish the work that you feel God is calling you to do this quarter? So really take some time to think about it, sit with it, articulate it. Don't let this week end without articulating, okay, what is my 12 week? By the end of these 12 weeks, where do I want to be? What do I want to accomplish? You know, and it doesn't have to be 100 things. It could be 2 things. It could be 1 thing, but just have clarity around what that 1 thing is, right? For this 12 week, for your 12-week goal. You got it? Simone, you're good? Good? Anita?
Yes.
Good? Wonderful. Throw up some fireworks for you.
So you said you sent out a text message?
Anita, I'm done. I'm done with you in these text messages. Yeah, I sent. Did anyone? Did you all get it?
Yeah.
Howard got it. Sam got it. Simone got it. Did you get the text message today, Anita?
Forget it. That's fine. Simone will send it to me.
Whenever I send something, so I sent a text. Yeah, I've been sending them all week. I can send a couple this week, didn't I? You should have received a couple from me this week. Okay. Check. Maybe I'm on your block list. So go into your phone settings and see if that number is blocked. Maybe you got one and you were like, I don't know who this is, and so you blocked it, and so all the others are just, you know.
I've received them. I've received messages from you before, so
Go back to.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, go back to one of the old ones you received and then send a response to me, and I should
The
get.
last one I got was February 24.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh.
me. Maybe she's on the next, because then she changed the.
What's the phone number?
I just lost it. Hold on just a second.
It's like a 951. What is that number?
Where did it go? Oh, okay. I texted you back. Let's see what comes up.
951. My old number was like
951-400-0154.
No. It should be 951-576. 14.
Okay.
So just text the word clarity. I'll put it in the chat again, and anyone can do this. Text the word clarity to 951-576-1405.
1405. Interesting. I got text from you from this number that I gave you. But okay, I'll text it.
Okay, perfect. All right. I will this Sunday we will not be on this Sunday. I know some of you all are traveling. We won't be on this Sunday, but we'll be back on Thursday. That's all right?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right. Have a wonderful night. Reach out if you need anything. Love you, and have a phenomenal weekend. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Great, thank you.
Bye.